Hi, my name's Emma Katirai and I'm a systems strategist. And in today's video, we're going to talk about receiving payments in Dubsado without connecting any payment processors. So in Dubsado, you can see that there are 3 payment processors that you can connect: Stripe or Square, and you can also additionally attach PayPal. So what these do is that they allow clients to pay automatically via the invoice. There will be a Pay Now button once these are connected to Dubsado, and then your client can right then and there inside the invoice click Pay Now, process their payment, and continue. But some people don't want to use these methods. There are obviously pros and cons to both, but for some people this is not an option that they want to pursue. So in that case, how do you use Dubsado? So you don't have to connect these payment processors for you to be able to use Dubsado. Obviously, they add some ease and automation to your process, but you can use other methods of payments outside of these 3. So to do that, one of the things that you need to do is go to your invoice terms. So I'm in your brand settings under payments and invoices. You scroll down to where it says invoice terms, and here you can add the information that you need, that your clients need in order to pay you. Obviously this can also go inside of an email, but it's super helpful to have it inside of the invoice. So you can put, how to get paid via Venmo or Zelle, or where to mail a check, or what email address to send an e-transfer to. You can also put information that has to do with tax purposes or your business number. All these things are helpful to put inside of the invoice. So now the question is, once someone pays you via one of these alternate methods, how do you apply that payment in Dubsado? It needs to be done manually. There's no way to automate this, but it is quite simple to do. So inside the invoices tab of that person's project, you're going to come to the invoice and click Apply Payment. Right? And here I'll have the date of the payment. You can choose the method. You can type something in here if you want to. You put the amount and then you click apply. Okay, so let's say this is a $150 invoice. They paid through e-transfer. I'm going to put $150 and I'm going to click apply. Now when I come down here, you can see it says payment of $150 and there's 0 remaining. The other question that I get is, if you're not using one of the integrated payment processors, you're using an alternate method of payment, can you use workflows? And the answer is yes, you can, but the automation will stop at the point in which it's waiting for the invoice to be paid. So if you look at this booking workflow I have here, it says hold actions until immediately after invoice installment is paid. So if you have a payment processor like Stripe, Square, PayPal, those will feed the information to Dubsado. It tells Dubsado this payment has been processed in this amount. Dubsado will check versus the payment plan and be like, great, this action has been met, this criteria has been met, and we can continue. When you're using an alternate method of payment, you cannot do this check automatically, even if you're using something like Zapier. So you have to manually go into the invoice, apply the payment like we did earlier, and then Dubsado will check and continue. So that means that, if someone pays you while you're asleep or you're away on vacation and you don't have access to your computer, you cannot apply that payment and allow things to continue. Let's say you're going to send them an onboarding questionnaire or a scheduler to book their first call. None of that can happen until you go into the system and apply that payment manually. For some people, that's not a big deal, but for some businesses, it is. So you basically just have to weigh the pros and cons and see if it's worth it for you to have a payment processor, or it's just better to continue to process things manually. So the advantage of accepting payments manually or using alternate methods of payment is that you can bypass the payment processing fees, which can get quite high. For instance, I'm in Canada. Stripe charges about 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. So it can add up. But the cons, what you miss out on basically is automation. Like I mentioned earlier, the workflows will not continue. They will stand there and wait until you mark things as paid, which can be a problem or not. You add friction. So instead of the client being able to pay right then and there inside of their invoice in Dubsado, they have to exit, they have to go into another app. If it's an e-transfer, they have to set you up in their bank account. They have to go through many more steps versus just clicking pay now and having a little thing pop up on their screen, putting their credit card information in there and processing the payment. So you just need to keep that in mind. Is that friction enough for you to lose clients? Is it enough for people to pay you much later? Like, what's going on, and is it worth it? So these are all things for you to consider and see, is it worth paying that processing fee or not? So I just wanted you to know these different things, keep these things in mind, and understand that yes, you can use Dubsado without a payment processor, but there are some implications, okay? So I'll see you next time.